Mr. Morrow is absent. Commissioner Marecki?
Here.
Mr. Katz? Here. Ms. DeNaro?
Present.
Chair Bell is absent. You have a quorum present.
All right, great. We'll move on to approval of the minutes from March 14, 2022.
Move approval.
Support.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, C, unfinished business.
There is none listed. We are moving to item D1, approval of the 2021 audit, management letter, communication letter, and invoice from Gregory Terrell and Company. And he is on the line.
Move approval.
Great. Okay. Mr. Terrell, do you want to go through any notes?
I can real quick. You want me to share my screen, or you have the report? I can. So real quick, I'll just briefly go through the draft reports if that's fine with everyone. Report in front of you is the draft of the audited financial statements of the Zoological Authority. And within the financial statements, we have the independent audit report, we have management discussion on that.
Do you have any questions?
Assets.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time hearing even what he's saying.
You can't hear me?
There, that's better.
Okay. So you have the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance, and then the notes to the financial statements. And the supplementary information is really our budget comparison schedule. And then we have a report on internal controls over financial reporting and compliance. So the next 2 pages is our independent audit report. I'm not going to go through everything here, but it just indicates that, management's responsibilities is to make sure that the financial statements are fairly presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. Our responsibility is to perform the audit in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards and obtain sufficient evidence that the financial statements are free from material misstatement, and then to render our opinion on the financial statements. And on this page, it indicates our opinion, which is an unmodified opinion on the financial statements that indicates that these financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects as of December 31st, 2021, and for the year then ended in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. The other matters is really just the budgetary comparison schedule, which we review and make sure it's consistent with the financial statements. And then the last report is really the report on internal controls and compliance. Next page is, again, it's really the management's discussion and analysis, which basically kind of gives the highlights of what happened during the year ended December 31st, 2021. And I won't go through that in detail. The governmental fund balance sheet and statement of net position shows that we had about the end of the year, we had about $2,100 that had not been dispersed to the Detroit Zoological Society. So our assets is 2156, our liability to them is 2156. And so our liabilities equal basically our assets. In terms of revenue and expenses, we received property taxes of about $4,399,000. We dispersed all of that money out through disbursements to the Detroit Zoological Authority of $4,392,000, and then professional fees of $7,800. So we balanced that out. The next schedules are really the notes to the financial statements, which are pretty consistent with the previous years. covers significant accounting policies, talks a little bit about the authority's operations, deposits and investments, indicates that, you know, what monies we had on available are basically included with the county's deposits in a pooled account. And then we had no significant subsequent events through, it says April, but that's going to change. We originally had April in there, but it'll be changed. Those dates going to change to June, probably today's date, June the 21st. In terms of the budget, we were over budget in terms of our property tax, and we actually were over budget in terms of our expenditures. The state typically wants, you know, in any adjustments to be made. Anytime you think you're going to be over in terms of expenditures, they want some adjustments being made or modified to the budget. So we did have a budget overall overage in terms of expenditures of about 564,000 there. And then this schedule here just indicates what that overage was, and then the budgetary process. On the last report is just a report on internal controls over financial reporting. We didn't have any what we call control weaknesses or significant deficiencies with respect to internal controls. Compliance matter. The only thing is that we did have those expenditures that were in excess of the approved budget. So that is pretty much the draft. Again, the dates will change from April to June 21st once approved by this body. Stop for a second. I want to bring up one more report, and then we'll be, should be good. Let me find it. Okay, this report is just really a required communication. It just indicates this is a summary of our audit results. Again, we've audited the financial statements of the Zoological Authority for the year ended December 31st, 2021. Summary of audit findings. We didn't. There were no significant estimates that affected the financial statement, and we had no difficulties in performing the audit. We had no major adjustments to correct the financial statements. Happy to report no disagreements with management, and we'll be requesting a representation letter from management dated today's date, just indicating that management has provided us everything we needed during the audit, didn't withhold any information that would be pertinent to our completion of the audit. Consultations with other independent accountants. We're not aware of any consultations that were required to get a second opinion by management. And then no conditions were placed upon us to be retained to do the audit for 2021. So that is our report.
Motion carries. Want me to move to the next item? Item number 2 is a receive and file correspondence from the City of Taylor. This is notice of a public hearing to approve. Property located in Romulus.
Move we receive and file.
Motion carries. Such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee. Public comments.
Support.